So we are talking about the movie Ghost Ship, also known as Curse of the Phoenix. Now this one doesn't actually come out until March 2017. So obviously not many of you are going to have seen this movie already, but I have, and I'll tell you all about it. This one is directed by Robert Young, and it's actually filmed in an area called Plymouth, which isn't actually too far away from me. It's a couple of hours down the road, so it's nice to see some kind of supernatural horror movies. I would say horror movie. I really don't class this as a horror movie. This is more of a supernatural drama more than a horror film. Basically, I would say it's a kind of, I would describe this as a supernatural nautical love story. That's the best way I would describe it. Now the story has this 19th century ship which has basically been turned into a kind of floating museum, and it's basically run by this kind of small group of tour guides basically. And one of these people has a kind of keeps seeing this vision to this woman, and he sort of sees her commit suicide. And at first, of course, he thinks she's an actual person, but she kind of just disappears and reappears, and kind of he obviously gets to the grip that she's some kind of phantom. She's basically some kind of ghost or wraith or something like that, basically. And as the story progresses, we learn more about the history of where she's come from, and obviously the mystery that kind of unfolds with it. So it really kind of feels like more of a kind of Wuthering Heights classic style literature movie than kind of your typical kind of more modern horror film, shall we say. So that's all I'll really say on the plot. Let's talk about the positives and negatives. We'll start off with the negatives here, first of all. The biggest one for me, I would say, is the plot is somewhat convoluted. I would say the last act, when it kind of goes into a bit of a flashback, I didn't feel was particularly well put together and was a little bit confusing. I actually watched this with someone else, and they found that a little bit confusing, like what was going on. I was able to follow it, but I feel some people will kind of be a little bit perplexed about the what's actually happening. There are some dodgy acting here, mainly from the extras, I've got to say. The extras on this film are quite hilarious. There's a few certain scenes where they are way overacting. It's actually pretty funny, so keep your eye out for the extras. The main cast, I would say, are pretty good. The main guy is a little bit variable here and there, but not bad, but the extras are quite hilarious, to be honest with you. And also I'd point out this isn't a kind of a fast-moving film. It's kind of a slow-paced drama rather than a horror film. So let's talk about the positives first of all. Actually, this is kind of going to transition. Some of the effects here are a little on the cheaper side. I mean, I don't try to judge a low-budget film for not being able to afford to do certain effects, but there are some which do look a little bit video effecty, if that makes sense. But at the same time, there are also some quite well executed creepy moments here. And obviously the fact that this all takes place on this kind of like galleon type ship, it's a very kind of creepy and spooky atmosphere to start with, and let alone you have these kind of like ghostly things that happen on there. And I feel there's some well staged spooky moments here. I thought the cast were all quite likeable. My favourite character is one called Lou, who was played by Lizzie Staples, and she was quite lovely. I was quite taken with her, and she was probably my favourite character. But they were likeable characters, I feel, and kind of grounded in reality. So you do feel quite, quite kind of. They seem like your people that you would know, if that makes sense. Very relatable characters, which I thought was all quite good. And I like the kind of the originality of it. I would say, like I said, this definitely reminds me of the kind of the gothic romances that you may have had. And if you're a fan of kind of like the gothic supernatural romances like Wuthering Heights and things like that, then you may like this film. I mean, it's obviously a contemporary, set in contemporary times, but nonetheless, I feel it was definitely harkens back to the kind of those type of literature and kind of films that if you've watched that sort of thing. So, like I said, if you are a fan of gothic supernatural romance, then this will be the film for you. I also quite like the fact that there's obviously it had a kind of a nautical feel where it's all kind of related to this kind of the ship and the kind of voyages and stuff. And like I said, the way that the scenes that are all done in the show, I think, were fantastic and kind of really adds a genuine sense of kind of like creepiness and authenticity that I feel you don't get in some horror films. It is a slow-paced film. I sometimes quite like a slow burn, but I feel it's likeable characters and kind of a drama that unfolds, and I feel is somewhat original. It does feel a little bit TV, admittedly, But overall, I feel this is worth watching if you'd like a kind of more of a supernatural mystery rather than a kind of gory, jump scare type movie. So overall, I'll give this film a 7.5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.